Right, I feel like most YouTubers would at least change their tops when they film on the same day, but it's going to be very obvious I've literally filmed on the same night. So I've just filmed my being sober in your 20s video. So please go and watch that if you haven't already, or you can watch it after this video if you want to. But today I'm going to be filming a video I've wanted to film for so long. So I think this is a video I would have loved to have seen when I was younger. So it's my experiences of an internship, an apprenticeship and university, comparing them all in different aspects such as value for money, value for content, and hopefully might help you, guide you through your career journey if you're on that journey as well. Please like and subscribe if you want to, and let's get started. So, as I said, I am 24. I'm in my first full-time, actually, no, I'm in my second full-time role, but it's the first job, which isn't an apprenticeship or an internship or whatever. So, as I said, I've done all three kind of types of training, I guess. So I wanted to share my experiences. I've not been sponsored, as it is all just kind of opinion. You might have had different experiences to me, and that's okay. Don't take my word as like gospel. Like, as I said, if you've got different experiences, please let me know in the comments. I'm not here to sort of shame any companies or anything. And as I said, I'm not sure if any of them will even watch this video, but I want to be as truthful as possible, but being respectful at the same time. But yeah, I'm just going to start talking about my experiences now. So I'm going to talk about this kind of in chronological order. So I technically started university first, so I'm going to start with that. So I'm going to split this video into like 4 or 5 sections. So the first section is going to be an overview. The second section is going to be sort of comparing. So I'm going to compare value for content or skills, value for money, and value for opportunity. So I've got my notepad down here. And then the last bit will be my conclusions. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is an overview of university in the UK. As I said, this video might differ for people who like live in different countries, but I feel like my audience is mainly UK based. So university in the UK kind of works like this. Typically you either do a 3-year course or a 4-year course, or I know like if you want to study to be a doctor it's longer, but like for a standard Bachelor of Arts or Bachelor of Science is normally 3 years, and then you might do a 4-year course if there's a foundation year or a placement year. But I did a 3-year, well, I originally signed up to do a joint honours in education and psychology, but I did drop out of that degree because I didn't enjoy the psychology aspect. I've done loads of videos on it. So I dropped out of my second year, then I returned and retook second year just doing education studies. Are you caught up? So I did my final 2 years just in education studies, and that's what I graduated with a 2-1 degree, which is like the second highest degree level you can get. So as I said, each year you have to pay your tuition fees, which can be funded by the government, by the student loans company in England, and you also get a maintenance loan, or you can pay for that yourself, but I opted for a loan. I did get the highest maintenance loan, not that it really makes a difference, but they basically test your loan based on your parents' income, and I live at home with a single mum, so that's why I was like eligible for the higher maintenance loan. It means I've got more debt overall, but yeah, that's kind of how the system works. So and the course structure, as I said, I graduated in like a 100% coursework degree. So you normally with university you have like maybe 4 to 6 electives or modules over the whole year. I had 2 assessments in each sort of module, apart from in my final year. When you do a dissertation, that's just marked as like kind of 1 grade. They did split it to 2 modules, I think, just for the semesters, but the score was combined at the end into 1 grade. So yeah, that's kind of an overview of how university works. The second bit is the internship. So I did my internship in my final year of university, and it was under the virtual internship scheme at the time. I'm not sure if they still do it at Bath Spa, but they essentially noticed, obviously I graduated during COVID times. I graduated in 2021. So they obviously saw that there was a gap in the market for students who didn't have much work experience. They couldn't really get physical work experience due to lockdown. So they reached out to sort of local companies or small companies saying like, hey, the university will pay for like your salary. Can you give these students like work experience? That's basically how it worked. So my internship was a month long, as that I got paid full living wage. So I think it was about £9 something an hour. And And as I said, it was only a month long. Sometimes it can be 6 months, sometimes it can be a year. It just depends where you go. But as I said, my internship was a year long, but it did turn into a part-time job after that. But that's basically how the internship bit worked. And then finally, on the apprenticeship, this is what I've done most recently. I don't want to say graduated, but I completed my apprenticeship in June. Yeah, I did the exams in June and I got the results of August time. So I'm really thirsty. So yeah, apprenticeships normally work by you are employed by an employer, but then you sort of do a qualification on the side. So my apprenticeship was a level 3 apprenticeship, which means it's an equivalent to a BTEC or an A level. So I said you're doing a full-time job but doing the A level on the side. So with my apprenticeship, I was in my office 4 days a week. Then 1 day a week I worked from home doing all the coursework bits and bobs. And I was assessed in the apprenticeship by a presentation, sort of coursework and a project and an exam. And it took me about 18 months to I think I finished it within about a year, but you couldn't be examined until like 18 months later. So yeah, that's kind of the timescales. So hopefully that makes sense for each one. So the next bit I'm going to talk about is comparing each. So I'm going to compare the apprenticeship, internship and university on value of content / value for skills. So I'm going to start again with university. So as I said, I actually changed degrees. So you might be asking why. The first, I just really didn't like psychology. I didn't like the maths. I didn't like statistics, which is not how my brain works. But I did enjoy sort of elements of the education degree. But I think where university really falls down personally, it just doesn't really prepare you for working world. Like, I think it's all well and good like writing essays, but like you're never really going to write an essay again after university unless you go on to do a master's or a doctorate or something like that. So I think all those skills where you're like learning how to Harvard reference correctly and like form a dissertation, like you just don't use those skills again. I think it's such a shame when you spend so much time working towards grades, and I think that's sort of where the value kind of falls down. As I said, I did enjoy the things I learned, but I think a lot of people come, especially if you go to university at 18, you change so much from being 18 to like 21, 22. And as I said, sort of through studying my degree, so when I went back to my second degree, I thought maybe I want to be a teacher, but I was quite lucky. I did have a placement module where I went into a school and sort of learned the ropes a little bit. It got cut short due to COVID, but I realised then I was like, I don't want to do this as a job. Like, this is just not for me. So I'm glad I had that experience to learn that rather than signing up for a PGCE. But yeah, I think a lot of people end up going to uni and being like, do you know what, I don't actually want to do this. So in some ways people might say it's a bit of a waste of time going. I personally don't think it was a waste of time. So I love that I lived in a really nice place. I will go on to this in like another comparison bit, but yeah, I just think what you actually learn at university, you don't really ever use those skills or that knowledge again. I mean, sometimes when I like talk about things to do with education, like politics, I might use things I've learned in my degree then. But like in my current job now, I literally don't use anything I learned at university, which I think is quite common, as I think just due to the sort of academic structure. Unless you go into like an academic job after, you're very unlikely to use things you've learned. I mean, you do sort of pick up time management and things like that. But actual like the content of what you learn at university, I just don't think is really high value. The next one I'm going to talk about is the internship. So I said the internship for me was only a month long. But as I said, at least with an internship, you are employed by someone and you are learning skills you would use in other jobs, which I think is really valuable. And I think the fact that it's short term is a good thing. Because again, if you don't like it, you're only there for like a month, 6 months, and that goes so quickly. And as I said, even in that month-long internship, I was like, oh, maybe like I like this bit, but I don't like this bit. And I think it was really good that it did lead me on to a part-time job, because again, I learned things I liked and didn't like. And as I said, it was just like nice to sort of shadow someone and sort of learn skills of like a working place. So yeah, I think the internship was really valuable. I said I think the short-term thing can be good and bad, because you don't learn like the whole scope of a job in a month, but you do learn the important stuff. And then finally, I'll talk about the value of content of the apprenticeship. Now, I think the apprenticeship was the highest value in terms of skills. Like, if you're someone who wants to go to sort of a professional kind of office job, I would really recommend doing a business administration apprenticeship. That's what I did my apprenticeship in, and it just sort of taught you how to use Excel, Word, sort of planning meetings. As I said, a big part of the course was planning a project, which I think is so important to learn. So actual value of skills, I think the apprenticeship was the best, to be honest. And even now when I go to job interviews, when I show evidence of skills, I can pick things out of my apprenticeship straight away, because as the coursework was literally showing screenshots of how you like demonstrated a skill. So I am glad I did that apprenticeship, because it just taught me a lot more skills than my education has, to be honest. So the next one is value for money. So university being the most expensive one, I think we'll start with that first. So again, I think it depends what your experience of university is. Obviously, it's an amazing opportunity to go to university and live somewhere new if you want to. I mean, you can commute, that does save you a lot of money. But I think just being a graduate in COVID times, I really don't think we should have paid that amount of money for tuition fees, especially, like, I know technically you don't pay for it, it's the government that pay for it, but the fact that I literally finished my last ever lecture in my childhood bedroom on a laptop, I wasn't even using university facilities. I'm like, this is just not fair. Like, I think people really should have got a refund, because I said we all just learn off laptops rather than using big lecture halls and like the university electricity bills. I think that's where it really fell short for me, to be honest. Obviously we couldn't help being in a global pandemic, but I just think like using sort of recycled materials and your own sort of resources, yet paying another institution, that's just where it really fell down for me, to be honest. So yeah, I don't think university is the best value for money. As I said, there is other ways you can do it more cheaply. So you can get a degree through an employer as well, or you can commute and do it that way. As I said, I think if you sort of combine the value of content for what you're paying, it's not always the best value for money. As I said, this really differs like depending on the person. But yeah, if I look back at all that money I've spent and the student debt I'm in now, I'm like, was it really worth it? Don't know, but yeah. So talking about the internship, again, because you're getting paid, it probably automatically feels a little bit more like better value for money. As I said, it's only a short-term thing. It's obviously maybe not the best value for money if you're someone who's got like a whole house to run. You probably can't afford to do an internship because it's short-term. But I think, as I said, if you're a student living at home or you've still got a student loan coming in, I think an internship is a really good time to do that. Or like being a student and doing an internship is really good because you don't have many responsibilities. And then for the apprenticeship, again, I think it's really good value for money because you're getting a full-time salary rather than sort of getting paid hourly that I got paid in my internship. So yeah, at least with an apprenticeship, you're there for at least a year. I mean, it was quite low paid. They normally just pay you minimum wage or like national living wage for an apprenticeship. So again, I think if you were paying a mortgage or you like lived on your own, it would be quite hard to live off an apprenticeship wage. I said I'm lucky I still live at home with my mum, so I could afford to do that, and I managed to pay for all my driving lessons with my apprenticeship wage. Obviously there were some months where it was harder than others, but yeah, so I think you've got to factor in the employers also paying the apprenticeship company for your like not tuition fees, but they're paying for your exams and stuff. So that's kind of why the wage dips, is because the employer is paying for that as well. So in that way you're kind of better off because you're not spending more money on exams and things. The employer pays it for you. So I think in that way it's quite a good value for money. And the final comparison section is value for opportunities. So first one being university. Again, I did get my internship as a result of university, so you could argue that it does offer opportunities. I don't think it always offers opportunities. I think a lot of people, especially when you're at school and college, like go to university, you'll get loads of opportunities. But so many people, if you've been to university and graduated and looked for a job afterwards, you'll get so many rejections. And it feels really personal, which it's absolutely not. But I just think because so many people have degrees, and probably the number one reason you'll get is because you don't have enough experience. You're like, I've just studied for 3 years. Like, what else? How can I work like a full-time job while studying? You just can't. As I said, you can do little internships and part-time jobs in between, but I do think some graduate jobs or entry-level jobs expect too much. It's like, how am I meant to do that when I've been studying full-time for like 3 years? So I think in that sense, it's not always the best for opportunities. And I said, I think looking at me and my university cohort, a lot of us didn't go into high paying or like jobs that sort of reflected our skill set when we first graduated, because I said we needed the money, but so many places just wouldn't take you on because of like lack of experience. So I think there definitely needs to be a bridge made between sort of university and the working world, where all those skills that experience that like the working world wants, like we should be getting that at university at the same time, I think. Yeah, I don't want to talk for ages on that. The next point is obviously the internship. Again, value for opportunities. I got a part-time job. I actually worked at that company for another year almost after that internship, so I was super grateful. And I know other people who have done internships which have led to full-time jobs after. So again, I think there is so many opportunities within an internship. And again, if you can put an internship on a CV, I think employers like that. I've had like a lot of people ask me about my internship. So yeah, I do think internships offer opportunities. The next one is just on university, the apprenticeship. So I will say I got made redundant from my internship job, and I always got made redundant from my apprenticeship job. So you could argue not great opportunities after, but at least with the job after my internship, I did get a job after that, which was the apprenticeship job, and I've now got another job after my apprenticeship. So it takes a bit of like work, as I said, doing job applications and things. And I said, at least this time around when I was job hunting, I could use like real life examples from the apprenticeship. So I think it does offer value for opportunities in that sense. And I think, again, if you're a graduate and you go to do an apprenticeship after that, people will be like, oh, you've actually got working experience now. Well, I hope so anyway. Whereas if you just graduate with a degree and want to go into a job, you won't have those like sort of not physical skills, but like I don't know what the word is, vocational skills, that's what I mean. And I did actually, for my current job now, I did get people asking, why did you do an apprenticeship after university? And I was just really honest. I said, look, I don't think I gained the skills from university that I wanted. And yeah, I just learned more IT skills in an apprenticeship than I did at university. And a lot of employers actually quite like that response. So yeah, as I said, I do think they sort of offer different opportunities in different ways. As I said, I wouldn't have got the internship if I didn't go to university. Probably wouldn't have got my job after that if I didn't do the internship. So maybe they've kind of all slotted in together. But yeah, overall, I think I've definitely got more job interviews after the apprenticeship job compared to the internship job. And then finally, I've put the conclusion. So, and I've just put any regrets. And as I said, I think if I could go back now, I would probably have done a different degree. I know I did change degrees, but I remember when I was 16, I'm going to talk about careers advisors. I'm not sure if anyone else had the same experience, but I first went to a careers advisor when I was 16. In my sort of final year of school, like everyone got one appointment with this careers advisor. We'd all sort of picked our like A-level options, and they just kind of spoke through what your aspirations were. And I remember I picked English, literature and language, psychology, sociology and world development. And she goes, right, what do you want to do after college? And I said, I was only 16. I still don't know what my career is now when I'm 24. But yeah, I remember sitting in the office and I was like, do you know what? I want to do English at university and I might become a teacher after that, but I'm not sure yet. And then I remember her saying, she was like, oh, English is such a broad degree. She said, oh, if you're picking psychology for A-level, you should do that at university with education. Like, that will open so many career opportunities. And I was like, oh, okay. So thinking that, at that point, as like a sort of impressionable 16-year-old, I was like, right, I need to do that to be successful. And I did enjoy A-level psychology in the first year, but again, second year, there was way more like statistics and like lab stuff, which I didn't really like. But sort of by the second year, I'd already applied to do psychology at uni. And I was like, oh, I kind of got to do this now. First year of uni was okay because it all kind of repeated A-level. But then when I got in my second year, I was like, oh my God, like I can't do this. I said I got very like mentally unwell. And then again, I just sort of felt stuck. I was like, I'm in my second year now. I can't change now. The dog's heard something. And yeah, I was just like, and then obviously I felt really stuck then. I said I was like 20, 21 at this point. I was like, God, what am I doing now? I've like worked so hard to do this at university and I don't even like it. And then again, I saw a careers advisor at college actually. And again, she was like, oh yeah, you should if you're doing psychology, do it at university, it's really good. So that's kind of why I fell into that kind of trap. But all along, I said, even now I still love reading, and like I watch loads of Jack Edwards videos. I just find like literature and reading really interesting. So I think I would have enjoyed university more if I studied something I actually really enjoyed. I mean, you can't change the past now. But yeah, I think if you are someone going off to university, just study something you enjoy. I know a lot of people say, no, you need to do this degree to be more employable, but at the end of the day, so many people have degrees now, and so many people change their career path after university anyway. Like someone at work the other day was actually saying, oh yeah, like I did a degree in economics and like I hated banking, so now I still work in higher education. So I guess I have actually followed the path, but I don't know if I'll stay in education forever. I think there's so many like opportunities out there. Like you shouldn't feel fixed to one thing, you know, and you should just do things you enjoy. But yeah, I think definitely one of my regrets really is just not doing something I particularly enjoyed at university. So yeah, if you're someone who's not liking the degree, you can change degrees not quite easily, but it can be done. You don't have to stick with something just because you feel like you should, you know. And then sort of about my apprenticeship, I think I did sort of panic and do it because like I was just like I couldn't really get a job anywhere else. Again, business administration, I've learned so many valuable skills, but again, it wasn't something that really interested me. I just sort of did it because like, God, I need a job, I need experience. But I think definitely now going into like my full-time career, I'm really working on finding something I actually properly enjoy and I find rewarding. I know some people can just go to work and do a job to earn the money and go home again, but if I'm like bored somewhere, I don't want to stay there, you know. So yeah, I think definitely. But then it's obviously hard. I said I want to do different things, but people will be like, well, you've not got the experience. They just like, I feel like employers just don't give people the chance. Like, yeah, that's something I find frustrating about the job market and the working world. But my internship, again, I really actually enjoyed that. I did that in social media. The only thing was that I wasn't quite like a proper internship. Because it was all remote. I feel like I didn't get the experience of an office in that sense. I did work with some really amazing people, but at times it felt a little bit lonely. And I think I would have loved it more if I could go into work somewhere and meet people and like work more collaboratively. But I'm glad I did that internship because I saw a different sort of sector, which I did like. So yeah, those are sort of my conclusions. I hope you found this video helpful. As I said, I feel like I vlogged a lot of my apprenticeship experience, but I never really finalised it. So yes, I did finish that with a high distinction, which I was super pleased with. So yeah, now I just work a full-time job. I work in education administration. So yeah, I'm only like a month in now, so I'm still adjusting, but yeah, we're giving it a good shot. But yeah, I hope you like this video. Please like and subscribe. Any questions about university, internship or apprenticeships, please let me know and I'll try and answer them. I said I hope this video has been helpful in some way. It's been quite a long one. But yeah, hopefully you liked it and I'll see you soon. Bye.